Uh, that is frustrating. What in the world is going on? Why? Alright, let's. I definitely don't think that was what it was supposed to do. There's just settings. Let's. I don't want to end the flight. I have it all set up. Alright, let's try one more time. Restart it. If that doesn't work, then we'll reset it all. It shouldn't take long. No, no, definitely don't think it's supposed to do that. Alright, I don't know why it's doing that. Set it all up again. First, fix the Cub. Just by reselecting it. Hit configure. I like the Tundra. I like the livery. Manage fuel. We want all the fuel. It always puts somebody in the seat. I don't know why. It's fine. Really not worried about all that. Alright, back. KYW. YW. We're going to Summerland Cove. We're getting there. I wish, like for flight, I wish I could just scroll this on over there. We're going to get there by way of Sugar Shores. 7FA1. So first we're going to just do direct out of there, otherwise it gets all funny about stuff. No approach in there. To our front niner. Straight out. Sugarloaf Shores. Add. And we're gonna send that route to our non-existent avionics. Oh yeah, we're gonna do 1,000 feet. Enter. Send route to avionics. Alright. And we're gonna fix the runways here. And circle. Okay. Now, hopefully, when it loads up, won't be smoking out the engine. Still smoking out the engine. Gosh dang it. And super dark. And J3 Cub. Why is my J3 Cub broken? We're just gonna go take off somewhere. Testing on one place. Alright. We might just take off more in the right direction and set it up in flight. It's too dark. We're gonna clear skies. Save. Let's just try to select a different airplane for a second. Reselect the code. Let's redo the gas. Full gas. One of the few airplanes that it probably doesn't make a lot of sense to take off without full fuel. Let's just get this loaded, see how it goes. Yeah, still got a smoky engine. Oh, I really wanted this to work out. I don't. What's settings? I don't know. Man, if anybody sees this and knows why, comment, because I might never figure this out. Um, yeah, because it's got to be something to do with failures, right? Like global preset, flight control. Let's see what happens when I switch this to legacy and restart. I don't know. I'll probably do the same thing again, but we'll try. No, I fixed it somehow. Oh, no, it didn't. Let's see what happens here. Hopefully it doesn't have all the gas in it. There's two people. Yeah, this airplane is glitching out. That's frustrating. We might just have to do this whole thing with the Zlin Cub instead, which a little bit sucks. Let's try one last thing. Let's try and start this. None of this is anything I want. Yeah, alright. Alright, let's try another airplane, I guess. So sick of ending the flight and resetting it up for that day. I wish there's a way to make this remember. Alright, let's go grab the Zillion Aviation Cub and Savage Cub, Zillion. If this one doesn't work, guys, then I think we are probably going to maybe restart, but probably just gonna call it a day until I got some time to figure out what's going on here. Well, the good news is it seems to be working. Bad news is it's dark. And I don't know how to change the time of day.
November 68799 at runway 27 ready for departure, departing straight out.
There we go. Okay. It's 5. Like 6 in the afternoon. I remember what I don't like about this airplane, but that's alright. She's always in it. It's part of the problem. Alright, I think we're rocking. Yes, I was looking forward to flying the J3. I will figure that out a different day. Today we're just making a video for fun. Took off to the west, which was a different direction than I meant to go. So I didn't have time to reset everything. That's okay. Alright, we're looking for a little place called Sugarloaf Shores. I'm going to pop the iPad up here in just a second. We'll get set up to where we want to go. I'll try not to fly over that Air Force base over there. I don't think it's avoidable. That's Marathon. Our hop might just beat a marathon, I wonder. Alright, there's the airport we just took off. Air Force Base is on that one. We're gonna head out this way. Yeah, we're still climbing a ton.
Savage 799, leaving by airspace frequency change approved. Savage 799er, please acknowledge.
Alright. It's enough of the attitude from that guy. Alright, I kind of know where I'm going. I've done this leg before. So I haven't set up my GPS yet. Right now, without watching a video, trying to learn how to reset the camera so it holds this position all the time.
Savage 799, did you hear voice translation?
Yes, I heard it. Yeah, I would like this to be my new preset. Still climbing. Alright, we'll just put us in a nice light descent. We're definitely going plenty fast. My goal was to do this in a J3 Cub today. But if you watch the beginning of the stream, you know I couldn't get it to load
Please acknowledge.
without the engine coming up, just smoking. So I don't know how to reset that airplane right now. I already had the stream going, so I thought we would hop in a real plane and actually go fly. So this is the best second option I had. It does have flaps. It's a little faster, a lot faster, and climbs a lot nicer. I would compare this more to a,
Savage 799er,
honestly, a
ATC
Super
service
Cub
is terminated.
probably.
Good day.
I need to stop moving this around until I have it set. Leave it alone. Alright, let's quick go to settings. Camera. Oh, whatever. We're just gonna fly today. I will try to figure this out down the road. Alright, I'll be right back. Sorry, short delay. I'm back. My phone was just about to die. I had to go plug it in. We're going to, this one is called Sugarloaf Shores. It's right on the other side of this island. You'll see it like this little island here. Just on the other side, just see this little island right there, if you see my pointer. And that's where we're going to head. It's called Sugarloaf Shores. We'll do a quick landing there. Maybe a quick back taxi, so we probably won't need it. And then we'll head on to probably Marathon. Where we'll land, we'll pull off, shut down, and call it a day. We took off, I was going to take notes of this. We took off, I suppose about 10 minutes ago, so say 6:15 local time where I'm at. Trying to make about an hour long stream here. I don't mind doing a little longer stream, an hour long leg for the flight. I'm just going to set up here on like a nice right base. A long final. Trimming it out. Yes, I am using an Xbox controller. The most time I have to fly the flight sim is while I'm on the road for work. When I'm at home, I have enough other responsibilities that getting a chance to fly the sim is just not ideal. Well, we're coming up on final. You guys see the runway here. We're going to go ahead and line us up. We got plenty of airspeed. We'll go ahead and cut the power. And we're going to float for sure. I came in plenty hot. It's a long enough runway, and the Cub doesn't need much to land. Yeah, we're gonna float, 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 float. Let's see if we can't get this thing stopped before we're at the end of the runway. Obviously, I can't see the end of the runway, so I know it's coming up. Does airplanes in this that's literally the end of the runway. Okay. Airplanes in this game do nose over easy from slamming on the brakes, so real life we could have stopped much, much shorter. I'm flying with no flaps because I'm trying to simulate a J3 flight, and a J3 has no flaps. So we're going to go ahead and taxi back just a little ways. I didn't see a windsock. I'd like to get a wind check out. Here's our windsock. Okay, it looks like we're maybe landed with just a touch of a tailwind. The wind's almost calm. So we're going to go ahead and take off here. Best thing about short takeoff and landing bush style planes is it's pretty simple just to go and hop right off the ground. Alright, we're going to go ahead and turn on out here, head over to Marathon. And the views of this game, I mean, I think they're pretty impressive. I don't see a big difference between this and 2024. I do know that my computer runs it a little easier just because it's streaming a lot of the graphics instead of loading them and processing them. So that's pretty nice. But it does require a half decent internet connection. So flying this from hotels can be a touch hit and miss from time to time. So that's something up in the air over there, just traffic. just going to follow the little highway here all the way on out. If we hit this, we can see some of the airports coming up and other landmarks. It's got heliport over there. And this looks like the Summerland Key. We're going to go look that up. I couldn't find that on the sectional. This spot over here. And Microsoft 2024 is pretty well known for having a bunch of spots that are just erroneous, old, not real. I'm not sure. But it's using current models on the ground. So I've done career mode missions where it just puts me in the middle of a cornfield and doing the online stuff, checking the forums. I'm definitely not the only person who has run into that. So we got like 5 miles to go. We're cooking along. This is way, way faster than a J3. And honestly, after struggling at the beginning of the stream, I'm just gonna kind of keep it cooking half decent here. Trying to bring it back down about 4,800 RPM. It's obviously running a Rotax, much higher RPM than the J3. J3 would max out about 2,500. This has got, we're cruising well at 4,800. So, and you see down here in the bottom, I can't actually point to it. In the bottom left-hand corner, you'll see 90 knots. And the airspeed, you'll see 100 and looks like 75 or just under. That's not knots, that's kilometers per hour. So, don't know why Microsoft put kilometers per hour. I would imagine if I owned this airplane, I'm gonna look. Maybe I can change it. But if I owned this airplane in the U.S., I definitely would not have an airspeed indicator in kilometers per hour. It's hard for me to imagine that even internationally that made sense. But I am inexperienced, especially with small aircraft for international travel and flying. So I don't know everything. All right, this is Summerland Key Cove. Got about 2.8 miles. We're plenty high. I'm actually gonna point down. Just start a nice light descent here. We'll fly over. We'll see if we see a landing spot here or not. This was on the map section before I started the flight, but when I looked at a sectional, it was not in there. So we might just zip on over to Marathon and kind of finish things up there. I'm leaving these on. It makes navigation a little easier, especially without the iPad up, but which is not realistic. TARS, something key, Cujo. So I'm just looking around, see if there's any landmarks worth checking out. There might be a little runway there. Maybe that's a road. I'm not sure. Yeah, looks like possibly an old runway. And maybe I just am bad at looking at sectionals. Yeah, there's definitely a runway there. Oh. Alright, let's make a nice little approach to landing there. We got lots of altitude here. I know the runway is 12 because I looked at it earlier. So there's our downwind. You see 1-2 at the bottom. That's a good indicator. Winds are calm or close to it. So I know we're getting a little decent. I'll get a little power in here. Get a decent little downwind here. Real life, I'd look over and it'd be about 45 degrees. We're definitely wide enough. And I see the runway, it's like right in there. So, yeah, we're only about 500 feet AGL, so we definitely want to stop going down. Don't want to get too much slower. There's our base. Let's see our runway here. We're only about 300 feet off the deck right now. Lining up turning final here. Right on final. Building right on the end of the runway there. Let's make sure we line up for the runway so we don't get called Harrison Ford. Nice little short strip in here. There's power lines right there. I wonder if those are there in real life. We might float here a minute. Let's get slowed down. Alright. That wasn't too bad. Yeah, I have a feeling that this airport is not here in real life anymore. But yeah, it was a nice little place to check out. If anybody knows anything about this airport, that's would be interesting knowledge to have. I hate to see it when these small little GA places disappear. As somebody who has flown out of a small GA community, they definitely hold a special place in my heart here. So let's rock and roll. Climbing out. Yeah, let's head on over to Marathon. That's where we'll kind of end everything up here. So. Once again, yes, I am doing this from my hotel room with a Xbox controller, a simple webcam, and yeah, a basic laptop. Nothing super crazy. If you guys want more information on the laptop, I can definitely give that. Let me know. Uh, yeah, we could go over that at some point. But yeah, definitely comment, say something. If you have questions, just ask. Would love to answer all your questions. Um, yeah, I'm in a hotel room using hotel Wi-Fi playing 2024. We're gonna try to take it one day at a time, one leg at a time. About an hour is my plan per leg. Flying from the Florida Keys all the way on up to Seattle. I'd like to do it at J3. That was my original plan. Today we're flying the Zlin Savage Cub because I couldn't get the J3 to run right. When I loaded it, the engine was on fire. And so I reloaded it and I loaded it again and I selected a different airplane and then went back to it. and it still, every time I loaded it, it was broken, and the engine was on fire, and I don't know why, what, or how. I will try to figure it out after the stream at some point, but for the sake of the stream, I wanted to load an airplane as close to the J3 as possible. This is probably a touch closer to a Super Cub with a Rotax. Um, but it's the Zlin Aviation Savage Cub. It comes stock on Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, the base version. And honestly, it's a fun airplane to fly on here, especially if you're just looking for some basic tail dragger with no avionics in it, and you know decent enough power to hop off the ground and go play in. It does have flaps. I'm not using them today because I maybe probably should or could, but my original plan was to fly this like it was a J3. But it's not a J3. It's much faster. The visibility, sitting from the front seat instead of from the back seat, the visibility is probably a touch better. Though from flight simulator standpoint, when you're sitting in the back seat, you have a better peripheral view. Let's see if I can't like kind of just show you like if I was sitting back here, I can't see any of the instruments, but I have a great peripheral view of out the windows, which are kind of actually like. Maybe we could just forward just the seatbelt thing in the way sucks a little bit, but we could fly from back here. It wouldn't be too bad if I was flying this in real life from the back seat, which I don't even know if that's a legal or safe option, but I would definitely roll this up, this seatbelt, and zip tie it up here, bungee it up there or something so it's out of the way. And yeah, it looks like we got maybe Marathon up here. That's probably where we'll set her down and call her a night. So I did learn that you cannot open these doors. And that's kind of what led to, I think, maybe some of the problems with the J3 is I was flying along having a great flight. I opened the door and it crashed. And there was nothing I could do about it. It opened the door and it crashed, it reset, and I couldn't, and then it reset with the door open. So it would just crash again and again and again. It was really interesting because it would go up 10,000 feet or so every time. So every time it crashed, it would reset 10,000 feet, crash, reset 20,000 feet, crash, reset. Maybe it wasn't quite 10,000 feet at a time. But anyway, I ended up in the flight level 500, 50,000 feet. And I couldn't get the door shut because it would crash before I had a chance. And it wouldn't even it's not like you were in the airplane watching it spiral to the ground and crash. It would just black screen, say you crashed, and reset. So I have no idea what's with that glitch. I did try it in this airplane and the J3 both. It does it in both. After that, I reset it just to finish the video up, and we just like, all right, we're in Palm Springs. Let's do some touch and goes. In the J3 because we didn't get a chance to land it before it crashed and started glitching out, and I didn't want to try flying it, starting the whole route over, and it was just like a test stream slash video. So we did a couple touch and goes, and that was a stream from a couple days ago. So if you want to go back and watch it, you can. However, it, you know, I ended the stream, shut it down, and now whenever I start the J3 up, it's got a giant smoking engine. Not sure why or how to fix it. My theory is like when it crashed, it somehow remembers that, and it's like, okay, you crashed, realism, broke the engine, and so I don't know how to reset that so it doesn't come starting with like a broken engine. But I did a couple touch and goes and landed fine and then shut the stream down. So I don't know. It's just kind of a glitch, and I'm gonna try restarting the sim. Maybe that will fix it. I have no idea though. So if you guys haven't by now though, you'll notice my banner. On the banner is a QR code to my links and just some things to go check out. I've got an Instagram where you'll see me flying real airplanes. The same with my Facebook page, and that's just something I want to share with you guys. I'm doing this while I'm traveling, and there'll be a lot more of that because let's just face it, whenever I can be around airplanes, whether they're on the sim or in real life, honestly, preferably in real life, but when you're away from home, uh, the sim is somewhat satisfying, especially like if this takes off and you guys start watching these and participating. This could be a lot more fun. We could talk a lot more about the nuances of simming versus real flying and just like basic instruction and any questions you guys have about this kind of stuff. I'm a vat of knowledge, less on simming, more on real life, but um, yeah, go check out my links. You guys will see them. They're pretty cool. Uh, Go and comment, like, follow, subscribe. I don't care. Um, and let me know what you want to see. If there's something specific I can work on, make a video of, that would be a ton of fun for me to get you guys involved. So anyway, yeah. So we're coming up on, it looks like, another island, Fisherman's Hospital, emergency. It's a helipad. Obviously, not gonna land there. We're not Red Bull status, especially in the sim. But it looks like just on the other side of there is a Marathon. We're gonna try to land. I think we're gonna try to land from the back seat here. I think that would be a little bit kind of fun. So we're about 300 feet AGL right now, just following the highway here, and try not to hit any power lines. So there's been a couple fatalities over the last week due with off airport ops and power lines. So yeah, it's a real sad deal. Power lines are a real concern for people. Something you really got to watch out, especially if you're in that low altitude environment trying to land in unimproved strips. Uh, that's just the reality of the game. It's something that the most experienced people doesn't take much to be complacent for a couple seconds, and there they are. So anyway, yeah, we're just gonna try to fly this kind of like it's real. I know you can't do this in real life, but I do like to just pop it out there and just kind of show off the graphics of the game and how far flight simming has come since when I started with Microsoft Flight Simulator X, or even X Plane like 9 and 10, and Prepared. Um, all of those I have a little experience in, and honestly, nothing, especially for like this kind of flying, like if you want to do simulator approaches or like simulated approaches and IFR approaches and things like that. Like those sims are great for that, but it's really hard to beat this for like the VFR seat of your pants, trying to land in unimproved strips and just do scenic cross countries. It's hard to beat. I mean, it's not even hard to beat. It's impossible to beat Microsoft Flight Simulator. It's just amazing to me what they've done. If I would have had this when I was 12, are you kidding me? It would have been game over. But even better, we have them when we're 40. I'm not 40, but if you guys don't know that quote, then just go look it up. All right, I see Marathon up here. We got about 8 miles. Just following the bridge out here, seeing some traffic. Looks like a little wildlife refuge there to the south. Anybody know this area very well? I've been out here, but I don't know the area well. So Look, there's our little shadow. I'd point at it, but you can't see it. If you see it, it's right about to come up on that island. Like, that's crazy to me if the graphics even include an airplane-shaped shadow in relation to where the sun is. That's insane. Yeah, it's gotta be like a little wildlife preserve or something out there, huh? Golf resort, maybe. Yeah. Well, no, just resort, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they. Yeah, I don't think they could fit a golf resort out here on these islands too easily. So. All right, guys, we're coming to a close here. We're gonna get up here to marathon. We're just gonna zip straight in. I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, I knew that was gonna happen. Sometimes tab pulls up the uh, EFB. Sometimes tab tries to put you in VR mode. So let's see if we can throw in marathon. We just type it in there. Alright. Alright, it's not really working. We're just, you know what, this is a Cub. It's no big deal. We're just gonna, don't even need to look. I can see the runway from here. We are gonna spend more time farting around a little bit. We're gonna try to land from the back seat here, so let's line this up. Runway in sight. Alright, airspeed. So I know I can't really see the instruments, so if you guys are wondering how I'm doing this, it is not all by feel. I'm using the airspeed in the lower left because the airspeed on here anyway is in kilometers per hour, which I do not know how that translates to a safe flying airplane very well. But I know a Cub should be able to slow down to about 50 with no flaps and have absolutely no problems. So that's kind of what we're working on. I'm using the vertical speed in the lower right, just a glance, and then engine position. That's easy enough. I am using the position of the hand throttle. You'll see move as I move it a little bit. We've got plenty of speed. We've got the engine idle. Altitude about 100 feet. All right, come over the end of the runway. This, I think, is going to be a decent landing. Oh, little bouncy, little bouncy. It's really hard to get this thing slowed down. Alright, I believe I've actually been to this airport before. I'm going to pull off here. There's a little flight school that operates out of here. I get pretty busy with stuff. Alright, we had about 50% fuel, I think. Wasn't paying that good of attention. We landed with 25% fuel. What that equates to gallons per hour, I couldn't tell you. If you guys know like a little toolbar or something that I could pop up that has that information, that would be key. That would be amazing. Yeah, I think the flight school's further down here. Let's go park in the GA area. This seems to be made up. I don't think it looks like this here. Of course, this jack wagon's just parked on the middle of the taxiway here. Yeah, I don't think you're supposed to be there, buddy. Alright. Anyway, this is Lynn Savage Cub. Lynn Aviation Savage Cub. It's stock on Flight Simulator 2024. Ton of fun to fly. Yeah, it's no J3, but you know what? I can't complain. This was a good flight. We had good landings. Two stops on the way with taxi backs. One was in Sugarloaf Shores, and the other one I can't remember the name of. It doesn't exist anymore. It's before Marathon. If anybody knows anything about it, just hit me up. I'd kind of like to hear what happened to it. Why it's on? I mean, no, I'm sure you're not gonna know why it's still on Microsoft Flight Simulator, but why isn't it there in real life? It was such a cool little strip. Looked like a little air park. Maybe it's still there. It's just not registered on the sectional. That's interesting. I'd like to. I might use Google Maps later and actually look that up. But yeah, I'd like to just see what you guys think. Anyway, yeah, there is a little flight school here. This is semi-realistic, but anyway, some of this looks familiar, some of this doesn't. But we're gonna park. I can't park here. Oh man. Woo! I definitely let the intrusive thoughts get away a little bit there. Whew, that was close. It takes so much to get this thing speeding up, and I definitely got to go a little too far before I had a chance to. We're just gonna stop it here. All right, we're parked. I'm sure that the ramp guys are freaked out. We're just gonna shut these mixtures or this magnetos off, and the ignition off. Oh, that's it. All right, all right, it's off. Um, there, there. That's what I wanted. All right, guys, it's been a great flight. Like I said, go check out my socials. That QR code works. I tested it, so if it doesn't work, definitely let me know. Send me like a little comment on my video or just a DM of some kind if you can. Harder's Outdoor Adventures. That's the name of my channel. This is Sim Layover. If you guys can figure out what I do for a living with that name. And I'm just in the hotel doing a little flight today in the Cub. Had a ton of fun. I will see you guys next time, and peace out.